Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And I'm thinking of doing some crazy giveaways once we get to 150,000 subs to kind of celebrate, but also because I'm going to be doing the face reveal and I want to kind of make it a big deal, you know? But if you're excited for all of that and want to help out the channel, make sure you press the like button and subscribe, obviously. And my question of today is, do you think XRP is bullish right now? Because, well, I've seen a video today which really has just made me happy to be an XRP hodler, as I'm just more and more convinced that Ripple is going to win this lawsuit. So I'm talking about the video by Jeremy Hogan. He gives some predictions for the SEC v Ripple and 3 betting motions and settlement time. So I, of course, watched this entire video and got some notes right now on my piece of paper. I got quite some notes here of what he basically talked about in a little summarized version, plus one little tweet which we have to use to get the full picture. So, damn, I shouldn't have taken it off. Otherwise, okay. So, first of all, he's talking about MOU. Now, a couple of days ago, I'm going to say a couple of weeks ago already, there was a big debacle between the Ripple and the SEC about MOUs, which are memorandums of understanding as far as I know it now. And that basically is talking about the SEC contacting foreign regulators. Ripple didn't like that. Ripple didn't want that because obviously Ripple finds it a little bit threatening to all those guys. But the SEC said, no, we're doing it voluntarily. Big discussion about it. And the judge was obviously in the whole hearing, the 30th, gonna listen to both sides about that and give a verdict eventually. Now, she didn't actually do that just quite yet, but Jeremy here, who's an attorney, expects a partial settlement to come quite soon because she's gonna give her verdict on that. And again, we're not exactly sure what she's gonna rule, but he thinks it in a positive sense, pretty soon here, at least partially. And then later on, we might find some more partially positive things once more on Ripple's side. He was excited about that. Then there's one other point which is really talked about quite often right now, which is the privilege ordeal, which basically, in my opinion, this is again the MOU ordeal, and another part is the privilege. It basically talks about if you are going to talk with your attorney, well, of course, you don't want that guy to spill all your beans, right? If you, did something you shouldn't have done, you should be able to tell that guy, unless, of course, you're telling him you're going to do something in the future or something along those lines, or I guess the second one is if you actually gave that information out to another third party, or if your sister, for example, is also there while you're telling the attorney, because then the rules are a little bit different. And that's basically what it comes down to right now. The SEC is saying, Ripple, you are kind of trying to make it sound as if the advice you got about XRP status, as basically right now, you got that from people saying, hey, it's not a security, and you got some financial advice saying that, and basically saying exactly what I just said. The SEC is saying, well, where is that information from, right? And Ripple says you don't have to get that information because it's private and because it's privileged. The SEC is now alleging, well, since you gave out selectively that information to people, it's not privileged anymore. And Ripple is trying to say, well, it still is, but Jeremy Hogan basically says that they gave it info to third parties, and so there's a good chance that Ripple is going to lose at least some here because, well, they gave it out a little bit. So he's not expecting this one to be won. Then fair notice defense could win can win it instantly. So the third part here, I'm messing up a little bit, guys. My notes were solid, but not that solid. Of course, you guys could also watch this video for yourself, but I can hopefully do it faster than 13 minutes. I always watch them at 2 times speed though, or about 175 right now. Then it comes to the fair notice defense. Fair notice we've talked about quite often. It is basically saying, hey, Ripple, as Ripple, you didn't know that the SEC was really hunting you down. Ripple didn't know that. And also from a different perspective, the exchanges should have been told up front and whatnot and whatnot. Jeremy actually says, if this fair notice defense actually pulls through, and again, it's a reasonable defense, then the whole problem of is XRP a security doesn't actually matter anymore, because if they didn't give fair notice, then boom, case is just good. It could win it literally instantly for Ripple. Then again, is the fair notice defense actually valid? Well, what the SEC has to do is assume that every single point of what they are alleging is true. And if that is true, if it still has no relevance, then that defense can be thrown out. And Jeremy also says that's not the case, because what they're doing right now is actually looking at the points that they're making and they're trying to dispute some of them, but they're not trying to look at those facts as true. And then even if they were true, they're not relevant, then only can it be thrown out. Hopefully you guys get that part. I think it was pretty damn just easy. But as of this point, he thinks the motion is going to be denied. And the motion was basically to strike that defense. So SEC wanted to get that little defense out of the way. You should see it this way, guys. Ripple right now has a couple of key defenses. And one of the defenses, if it is not solid enough, or if it adds nothing to the whole case, then the SEC wants to throw it out because it makes it more complex than it needs to be. Now, if the defense has really no relevance to the case at all, even if the defense was actually considered to be true, so for example, in this case, if all Ripple's points were actually true, every point that it put up, if it still has no relevance, then only then can it be thrown out the window. Next little piece of paper I have was Ripple no ICO, SEC since 2017 promising versus doing. What it basically comes down to is all the cases which we've seen before, a lot of them have to do with, and are quoted, that have to do with ICOs. And there's only been some rules in 2017, which is also what Ripple says, from the SEC side, but it's mostly about ICOs, and that's also what, again, Jay Clayton and all those guys came up with and came down to. There's not really a rule book for guys that are already doing it, specifically now for a company that's actually doing it for so long, and also in a different sense, also a company that's actually gotten those cryptos after they were already made. Because a lot of these companies right now were making an ICO or doing an ICO to get money to make the platform. With Ripple/XRP, XRP was officially created before Ripple was even created. So of course Ripple couldn't have used it then to make money, or sorry guys, to build a platform, because the platform was already there before Ripple was created. Then SEC Gary. Ripple and SEC go back and forward. Yeah, he said there was a little bit of a discussion about the SEC going back and forward about, whether or not this is actually the case, whether or not, some of those are right. I don't really know exactly why I put that point in. It's just basically there were some rules here, some rules there. The rules are just not clear, right? FinCEN said something about XRP, another party said something about XRP. It's just not clear. And again, that's one of the defenses which Ripple's trying to use, that it's not clear, they couldn't have known, and the SEC is saying, well, you should have known, you could have known. Then it's about SEC Gary Gensler, and that is actually coming back to this little tweet right here from BC Backer as well. He says, great update from attorney Jeremy. Jeremy predicts that if Gary Gensler wants to pull back from this lawsuit, he says that in the exact last minute here, last like 20 seconds, 50 seconds, he says, if Gary Gensler wants to pull back from this lawsuit and work towards regulatory clarity, we will see a settlement within the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, if he approves this case, it'll go to at least September. And that's literally his words of Jeremy Hogan. He basically talks about the fact that there was a conference behind closed doors with the SEC today or yesterday, and it could be that Gary Gensler doesn't want to focus on this case, but just wants to take his hands off and focus on regulating crypto properly. If that's the case, the SEC could side for a partial settlement, and again, mind you, very much so that Ripple stated before, there's two ways that this can go. One, it is the SEC and Ripple coming together on a partial settlement first, or a complete settlement, or the judge, ruling it. There's no going back anymore. That's improbable, but mostly just impossible. And as it currently stands, I'm hoping that it's just going to be fixed within the next 2 weeks. Again, mind you, that does not mean that everything is going to be gone and everything's going to be over, but it could be a partial settlement, meaning that some parts of this lawsuit would just be agreed upon. Just a settlement, again, meaning you agree on something. A partial, meaning it's not fully, but only a portion of it. And we don't know exactly which one, but I'm assuming the part of XRP/XRP future sales not being securities. Obviously, they can't do it for every sale of XRP in the past, but I'm assuming if they're going to partially settle every XRP transacted from the 22nd of December on forward of 2020, basically when the lawsuit started, and every XRP handled on the secondary markets are considered non-securities, and it's only going to be about Ripple's direct sales of XRP. That would sound logical to me. Then there's, of course, a big petition going on, as you guys most likely know, where people are trying to get Jay Clayton, William Hinneman investigated, Gary Gensler to look into this whole case and dismiss it and just throw it out the window and whatnot. And right now, there's been like 25 or even 30,000 signees. It's pretty damn crazy how fast that went, because there were 17,000, I believe, 3 days ago or something like that. It went up like a skyrocket just now because a lot of people just wanted to see it. And I definitely think 30,000 people is going to get some attention over there. Not exactly sure it's going to make a difference, but at least it will bring some attention. And if they, at the SEC, were already suspecting some crazy stuff from William Hinneman and Jay Clayton, they're definitely going to look into it now, because if 30,000 people want them, the SEC, to look into it, they can't deny it anymore. Now, I would have actually hoped that they would have involved Elon Musk in some way, shape, or form in this, because, well, what if Elon just kind of memed around with that, right? And just made it like, hey, why are you trying to contact me or something like that? 30,000 people is a lot, right? And it could have helped. It could have worked. Because if Elon just saw like, okay, that's crazy, and he commented about that, he just said, oh, that's crazy, that would have been so juicy. But again, you can't have everything. Having said that, XRP, how's it coming along? We're still $260 in profit. It's still going okay. By the way, guys, sometimes I short things, as you most likely know. I literally wanted to close my position just now, but I mean, yeah, whatever. Elon Musk has lost $20 billion since hosting Saturday Night Live. Investors aren't impressed by Elon's flip-flopping, and basically people just thought of him as a really big, I don't want to say the word, but just not a smart ass, basically, just a, a stupid type of guy, because he was memeing around with that. He was basically talking about Doge a little bit. He's right now memeing about Doge the whole time, and he's now also cracked down Bitcoin. People are not really liking him too much in the recent couple of days, and a lot of people are saying that that's his whole plan, that's his whole strategy, that he's doing something along those lines. Not exactly sure. All I know is that this guy is either 500 IQ, has some big ass plan that none of us know about, or he's just goofing up a little bit and lost a lot of money because of it. I'm not exactly sure. By the way, guys, if you are enjoying the daily crypto videos, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Dogecoin prices surge 40% higher, but here's one sign: the crypto is headed for a lasting breakout. Analysts say, well, intermediate term momentum is positive and short-term momentum is improving. Relative strength versus Bitcoin has turned up, but seems fragile, says Fairlids KD Stockton. I don't want to actually look into this article too much. It's just basically, guys, don't bet against Dogecoin. I keep telling people that if you are shorting Dogecoin, you're basically, I don't want to put the analogy there, but you're doing some really risky stuff. Shorting XRP is a bad idea unless you're doing it for a really short term. And a Dogecoin, I would just never do it because you don't know what type of guy is going to pump it up. And again, guys, we're in a little bit of profit right now. I could just cash out $250 and just be happy. We could, all right? I mean, yeah, that's the most logical answer. I actually thought so about a couple of minutes ago when it was $400 in profit, but it's just that I'm too lazy right now to actually press market and be done, because I'm thinking, what if we can get some more money out of this? I would definitely close it, though, if it's at about 10 to 12% profit still, or, crossing basically this line. I'll just end it and take my money, because we're not going to go down further than I am assuming. But for right now, as it currently stands, guys, I'm just excited to be an XRP hodler. Whenever I'm doing this, it's purely to make some money. You guys know it, right? We're making money up or down. I don't really care. And Bybit is the platform I am using for all of that. But yeah, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. I'm extremely bullish on XRP. You guys most likely know it. And let's hope that within two weeks here, there's going to be a freaking settlement. That would be huge for the XP price. And I'm going to have a long position open, as I told you already, guys, purely because I want to speculate on that. And if it's going to happen, that would be huge. There's another hearing coming up the 21st, by the way. I'll make another video explaining what is going to happen and what's going on exactly a little bit later this week.